Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to meeting number 454 of Grand Falls-Windsor Town Council. And before we get into the official agenda, we do have some business to take care of. Halloween has come and went again for another year, and we had great participation in the community. And we're very pleased to be able to recognize some of the people who went through some extra work to get their houses and their properties looking nice and spooky for Halloween. And a fantastic job by all for sure, and certainly makes a big difference to Halloween and to those holidays when we end up getting the buy-in from the community and the residents in the various neighborhoods. So what I'd like to do is just go through the award winners. Of course, every year the Parks and Rec Department give out awards for the Halloween contest for the best decorated house. And I will start from the lowest to the highest, if you will. So first of all, there was an honorable mention this year, and that is Terrence Hancock from 1 Ogilvy Street, and Terrence gets a plaque and also a $25 check, compliments of the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. Terrence is not here tonight, so I'll move on to the next prize winner, because I do know we have some guests here that are in attendance that won prizes this year. Third place, there was a tie this year. We had a tie between Jill and Greg McGraw of 16 Thomas Street, and also third place tie and receiving a $50 check and a plaque. And here this evening, I believe, are Hannah and Kaylee Hemian from 41 McHugh. So I'd ask Hannah and Kaylee to come up and get their plaque and their check. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations. And who's Hannah and who's Kaylee?
I'm Kaylee.
You're Kaylee and you're Hannah, hey? And you guys did all this work yourself? A little bit of help. You helped, though. Had some help from Dad, I guess, did you? Now, I got... Oh, you coordinated it. They were the directors. Awesome. Well, that's important. You got to know where to put it, right? We've got a check here for you guys, and also a plaque. So I'm going to give one of you guys a plaque, the other a check. I'm sure you're going to be sharing this stuff anyway. And then if Dad wanted to come back up and get a picture, he's going to move around there. He can do that. So here you go, Hannah. I'm going to give you the check. And Kaylee, I'm going to give you the plaque. And we're going to stand here now and look at Dad and get a picture taken. Okay?
Good job.
Congratulations, guys. So you're going to keep doing this year after year for us? You're very welcome. Always nice to see the young ones involved. Moving right along, the second place winner for the best decorated house this year, Halloween contest, was from 45 Harmsworth Drive, and that was Sean McLaughlin and Denise Burns. And I know they're not here this evening either, but congratulations to those guys. And of course, we'll make sure all the prize winners get their plaques and their checks. And finally, the first place winner. Don't think it's any surprise to anybody again that we got these folks back in chamber. I believe this time last year you guys were here accepting the very same prize. So I'd like to call upon the first place winners, 114 Goodyear Avenue, Kellyanne and Aiden Sheridan. Come on up, guys. Now, check and a plaque. You want to share it between you guys, or are you going to split it down the middle? What are you going to do?
Yeah, we're going to split it. Yeah, split it.
Going to split it, hey? And you won some money last year too, didn't you?
Yep.
So what'd you do this year? Anything any differently, or did you add some more things?
It was a different theme.
Different theme. What was your theme?
Ghostbusters.
The Ghostbusters theme. Awesome. I know I drove down around. There's lots of traffic down your way, eh?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you do such a good job on your decorations. Everybody wants to come down and see it. So I just want to congratulate you both, and I want to encourage you to keep doing this for us, because it makes a big difference to Halloween. You guys do such a fantastic job. So on behalf of town, I want to congratulate you, and we're going to pose for a little picture. How's that?
Thank God.
Kellyanne, Aiden, good job.
They got pictures.
Oh, we got a picture already?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, thanks, guys. Congratulations, first place once again. very short and sweet. Well, congratulations again, guys, and we'll probably see you back here again next year, eh?
Yep.
Awesome, good job. Thanks.
Thank you. We're probably going to save it for the money for something in the future, like going to a university.
Oh, good idea. Yeah, it's always nice to put your money away for that. You're thinking ahead. What grade are you guys in?
6.
Grade 6. Well, you can never be too planned ahead. You know, you can never be too prepared, right?
We're twins.
I know you guys are twins, yes. And who's older?
Me.
You're a little, how much older are you?
A minute.
Just a minute, hey? And she doesn't remind you of that, I don't guess, Aiden?
Well, sometimes she does, but I don't really care.
Yeah. That's right. Close enough. Well, great job again, guys, and thanks for coming down to get your plaque and your check this evening. Thank you.
Thanks,
Awesome. As we let the folks move out there now, and we take care of the preliminary business, so we can move right into the regular meeting. So we'll officially call the meeting to order. Meeting number 454. And first, looking at the agenda, we'll look for an adoption of the minutes from meeting number 453. Any errors or omissions? Moved by Councillor Moores, seconded by Councillor Pinsent. All in favor? Contrary minded? Motion carried. Business arising out of the minutes. Any business arising from the minutes? Seeing none. Moving right along. Disbursement report. Councillor Pinsent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Move the disbursement report of $1,255,310.44 be adopted. Move.
Moved by Councillor Pinsent, second by Councillor Moores. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Contrary minded? Motion carried. Committee reports, Economic Development and Tourism. Councillor Coady-Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. The Economic Development and Tourism Committee met on Monday, October 26th at 4:30. In attendance were myself as chair, Manuel as mayor, Councillor Darren Finn, Councillor Tom Pinsent. Staff were Mike Pinsent, Town Manager Clerk, Barry Griffin, Director of Finance and HR, and Gary Hennessy, Economic Development Officer. Town video, the committee reviewed 2 promotional videos promoting towns and cities. They discussed both types and have instructed the Economic Development Officer to check with our IT specialist to determine if we have the capacity to produce one of our own in-house. The Economic Development Officer will also check with companies that employ drones to use in a future video. Tourism workshop review. The town hosted a tourism focus group on Wednesday, October the 14th. There were a total of 10 participants made up of local tourism operators. Our Economic Development Officer gave a presentation on the town's tourism objectives for 2015, and the group discussed these in detail. The group then was asked to respond to 5 questions on tourism opportunities, and all points were recorded and presented to Council. 6 submissions were also received from the general public on possible tourism opportunities in 2016. Several recommendations were discussed by the Economic Development Committee and the EDO. We'll meet with funding agencies soon to discuss possible options for these recommendations. We've also penciled in several of the recommendations to the 2016 department budget. The budget review, the Economic Development Officer presented his draft copy of the 2016 department budget. The committee reviewed the entire document and made several recommendations going forward. The Economic Development Officer will adjust the document and forward it to the Director of Finance for final review by the Finance and Administration Committee. Our meeting adjourned at 6:40 p.m. and I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Coady-Davis, seconded by Councillor Finn. Any questions, discussions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Contrary minded? Motion carried. Public Works and Planning, Councillor Finn.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The Public Works and Planning Committee met on Tuesday, October 27th at 4:30 p.m. Present were myself as chairperson, Deputy Mayor Barry Manuel, Councillor Bruce Moores, Councillor Rodney Mercer, Councillor Amy Coady-Davis, Councillor Tom Pinsent. Among staff present were Town Manager Mike Pinsent, Director of Engineering Works Jeff Saunders, Supervisor of Engineering and Public Works Wayne Tate, Town Planner Mary Wan. Also attending were Ivy and Jerry Gardner. Polybag flyer tubes presentation from Mr. and Mrs. Gardner. Ms. Gardner stated that she has been coordinating flyer delivery in Grand Falls-Windsor for the past 5 years. Granville Heights from Scott Avenue to the east end have been difficult due to residential spacing and speed of traffic. They propose using enclosed cabinets with glass door as an alternative to the flyer tubes. Ms. Gardner also explained that the residential tubes that are used when people do not have Ms. Gardner also explained the residential tubes are used when people do not have mailboxes. These tubes are installed only with the consent of the homeowner. There are approximately 70 in place. Mr. and Ms. Gardner were excused from the meeting at 5:20 p.m. The committee reviewed the new information presented and recommends approval of the alternate cabinets for Granville Heights on a trial basis. These would be installed at the existing super mailbox locations approved by the engineering department and not directly in front of a residence. They would be placed on a concrete slab or patio stone, well maintained and serviced, and any debris or litter will be collected on a regular basis. The committee reviewed the residential tubes and recommends they be approved on a trial basis if located within 1 meter of the front line of the house. Correspondence, 55 Harmsworth Drive. The committee reviewed information provided concerning drainage issues at 55 Harmsworth Drive. The committee recommends that staff clean up and lower the ditch elevation as much as possible. The work may not be completed this fall due to existing work and time of the year. Abitibi Water Tower. The committee discussed a request from a resident stating the town should consider saving the water tower at the former Abitibi Mill as a historic monument to the mill operation. This structure is scheduled to be removed as part of the demolition process. The committee recognized the need to acquire some memorabilia from the site for future display, but it's not practical and too costly for the town to salvage this structure. It will be removed mechanically, and when on the ground, the bowl condition can be assessed for future possible use. Delson has offered a site visit to council to look at possible items, and the committee recommends that this visit be arranged. Commercial development, Cromer Avenue. Staff met on the site with the owner of the property and plans for the new Hyundai dealership that are progressing very well, hoping to start the foundation work in early November and commence erecting steel early in the new year, weather permitting. They continue to clear and grub 16 acres of land at the rear of this lot for future commercial development. The developers have been approached by potential businesses, but until he has engineering completed for the infrastructure to determine development costs, he will not be having any serious discussions. Correspondence, Mary Ann Charland. Canadian Company Towns, their database. The committee discussed a request from Ms. Charland concerning the digitizing of all plans we have on file. This is part of a project by the Canadian Research Chair on Urban Heritage. This project is Identity on the Land, Company Towns in Canada. The committee recommends that staff work with Ms. Charland to have the project completed. Central Newfoundland Waste Management Governance Model. The committee discussed the governance model briefly. They are very concerned with the latest information on projected revenue shortfalls for 2015 and again, new rate increases for 2016. The committee recommends staff communicate with the Chamber of Commerce and ask for feedback from their members on the impact of the new waste management program. This will assist the committee in formulating a position to discuss with Central Newfoundland Waste Management. Drainage, Finn Avenue. The committee discussed a drainage issue between two neighbors on Finn Avenue. The committee recommends no action be taken by the town as this is a civil matter between neighbours. Correspondence, Knights of Columbus, P.J. Connors. The committee discussed correspondence from the Knights of Columbus requesting Station Road be renamed Meany Road. Father Meany was a local priest for decades at the St. Joseph Parish. The committee recommends staff write the property owners on Station Road for their input on the request prior to making a recommendation. 91 Circular Road. The committee discussed pictures of 91 Circular Road that showed water backing up onto the properties. Staff stated these were older pictures and they had visited the site recently and no issues were present. The committee recommends no further action at this time. Capital update. The Capital Works program was discussed in detail. Mayor Manuel acting was excused from the meeting when funding for the proposed Coady-Davis Brook Enhancement Association building was discussed. There are still a few details on allocations that need to be reviewed, and the committee recommends these be addressed by staff for discussion and approval of the Capital Works program at the next Committee of the Whole meeting. The meeting adjourned at 9:20 p.m. I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Thank you, Councillor Finn. And before proceeding with the vote, if I could, as indicated in the minutes there, the item capital update, I excused myself from those discussions at committee and would like to do so for the vote. So I'm going to ask that Councillor Finn, if you could take the chair to vote on that specific item, and then I'll return for the rest of the minutes. I'd like to make a motion to separate that item, if I could.
Just as a point of order, Deputy Mayor, I believe the revisions to the capital are in the Committee of the Whole minutes and not in the Public Works minutes.
The whole financial piece on all the capital later.
There is no decision point in the Public Works minutes that deal with Coady-Davis Brook as a point of information. The decision point for changes, and there are no changes in that particular issue, and I'm still speaking on a point of order, and there are no changes with respect to Coady-Davis Brook anyway, but the changes to the capital are in the Committee of the Whole minutes, and that's correct, right?
Okay, well, with that information in mind, if it's okay with everyone, we can take care of any separations later when that detail comes up. That's what you're suggesting, I assume, Councillor Finn? And that we could proceed as normal now to adopt these minutes?
Proceed as normal, because there are no decision points, unless councillors have a different point of view on this.
Well, I intend to agree with Councillor Finn. That's, it's in the Committee of the Whole minutes.
Yeah, it's not in these. Okay.
Okay, yeah, good rationale, and I agree as well. So with that said, we will go back to Councillor Finn's original motion to accept the Public Works and Planning Committee meeting minutes as read. Looking for a seconder. Councillor Coady-Davis. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Okay. Finance and Administration, Councillor Pinsent.
Thank you. Finance and Administration Committee meeting on Monday, November 2nd at 4:30 p.m. In attendance, Councillor Tom Pinsent, Chair, Mayor Barry Manuel, Acting, Councillor Darren Finn, Councillor Bruce Moores, Councillor Amy Coady-Davis, staff present, Barry Griffin, Director of Finance and HR, Mike Pinsent, Town Manager. Cash collections. The committee reviewed the taxation receivable report as of October 31st. The total taxes outstanding as of that date were $1,654,396.70, a decrease of $1,733,551.87 from the previous year. Labor report. The committee reviewed the labor cost as of week 43. Total labor was $2,668,383. This was $4,367 in excess of budget. The committee recommends the staff continue to monitor labor cost. Collection policy. The The committee reviewed a draft of the collection policy. The committee recommends that it be further reviewed at the next Finance Administration meeting. Funding request. The committee received a request for funding from the Ronald McDonald House. The committee approved $500 for this. The committee received a request for funding for a sound system for the Santa Claus Parade. The committee recommends that staff will discuss the cost of this and discuss further with the Lions Club. The committee received a request from the Rotary Club for the Lionel Killen Hospice. The committee recommends $500 be approved for this. The committee received a request for a purchase of a table for the Shoot for the Cure. The committee recommends $800 be approved for this. Central Newfoundland Waste Management. The committee reviewed an audited financial statement for December 31st, 2014. The committee reviewed the audit financial statement as for December 31st. The committee recommends that we schedule a meeting to discuss the financial statement and budget with Central Newfoundland Waste Management Committee in the near future. Taxation. The committee received a correspondence from a resident in regard to paying tax arrears due to an error and change of ownership. The committee recommends continued discussion to resolve this issue. Revised budget. The committee presented a draft of the revised budget. The committee recommends that the staff continue working on finalizing the revised budget and preparation on 2016 budget. Homelessness Partnership Strategy. The committee reviewed a statement of revenue and expenditures for the Homelessness Partnership Strategy for the year March 31st, 2015. The committee recommends those be accepted. 2015 art procurement. The committee reviewed the summary of art submitted for Council's art procurement program. Total submissions were 29 and total number of works purchased were 10. The committee were pleased with the participation and congratulates all people who submitted arts. Budget 2016, the committee reviewed the draft budget submissions for the Town Manager's Office, Finance Department, Fire Department, and Council budget. The committee recommends that these be forwarded for consideration to the budget process. Meeting adjourned at 8 p.m. I move the recommendations of this report.
Thank you, Councillor Pinsent. It's been moved by Councillor Pinsent. Looking for a seconder. Second by Councillor Coady-Davis. Any questions, discussions on the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor? Contrary minded? Motion carried. Parks, Recreation, and Special Events. Councillor Coady-Davis, please.
A lot of pages in the Finance Committee to scroll through. I know, I was halfway. I didn't know if I should go back or keep going. Yeah. The Parks, Recreation, and Special Events Committee met on Wednesday, November the 4th at 4:30 p.m. In attendance, Deputy Mayor Manuel as chair, myself, Councillor Pinsent, and Councillor Finn. Staff were Mike Pinsent, Town Manager Clerk, Todd Mercer, Leisure Services Programmer, Keith Andel, Parks and Recreation Foreman, and Dave Nichols, Director of Parks and Recreation. The program grants and capital programming update. The Leisure Services Programmer presented a list of capital grants recently approved through the provincial government. These grants, totaling $19,500, will be used to purchase active living games, mats, snow machine, cross-country ski equipment, a soccer score clock, and other kitchen equipment. Fall and winter programs. The Leisure Services Programmer presented a final list of programs planned for the fall and winter. Several new programs, including jiu-jitsu, co-shared Y2C hip-hop dance, cooking program, and a photography program will be offered. The fall and winter brochure will be sent out to all residents in early December, and copies will be delivered to all schools and given directly to students. Ski trail facility update. The staff presented the committee with an update on the ski trail and the existing ski hut and storage shed. Work is proceeding well on the trail, cutting with over 3 kilometers completed to date. The ski trail has been knocked down in preparation to be grubbed and graded and completed in the next few weeks. Construction on the new ski hut and storage area will not commence until spring of 2016. The staff were directed to repair the leaks in the existing ski hut roof and replace the roof in the existing groomer storage area before the ski season usage is required. Fan Code of Conduct update. The committee discussed the Fan Code of Conduct policy that was implemented at the stadiums in October. The Code of Conduct policy has received good cooperation and respect from the stadium users to date. Helmet policy update. The committee discussed the new helmet policy that was implemented at the stadiums in October. Although firm enforcement of this policy will not be in effect until December the 1st of 2015, this policy has received good cooperation and respect from the stadium users so far. However, there is still about 30% of stadium users who are not wearing a helmet or are wearing an uncertified helmet on the ice surface. The committee directed the staff to continue to communicate and inform the public of this safety policy. The committee noted that the recent on-ice incident at the Masters Curling Tournament demonstrated just how quickly and severe a slip or fall to the ice can be, even to world-famous curlers. The Sports Wall of Fame. The committee discussed a list of names submitted to possibly serve on an advisory committee for a Sports Wall of Fame. The committee directed the director to contact the individuals recommended to determine their level of interest. The committee also directed the Director of Parks and Rec to publicize the advisory committee and to compile a list of any further individuals who would be interested in serving on this committee. The final list will be discussed at the next committee meeting. Parks, playgrounds, and fields fall and winter closing. The committee discussed the fall and winter close of the parks, playgrounds, and fields. The facilities will remain open until winter weather sets in and will close for the winter due to safety and maintenance concerns. Red Maple Festival update. The director informed the committee that the Red Maple Festival has been running quite well, even with the windy weather that occurred during the opening weekend. A more detailed report will be presented at the next committee meeting. Fresh Start Theatre Christmas Show. The committee discussed a request from Fresh Start Theatre requesting that the town partner with the theatre group to present a Christmas show. The committee recommends that this request be approved. Northcliffe Drama Club request. The committee discussed a request from the Northcliffe Drama Club requesting that the town co-partner and co-sponsor the drama club in 2016 at the same financial commitment as in 2015. The committee recommends that the Northcliffe Drama Club submit a written request for consideration during the department's budget preparation process. Light Up for Christmas ceremony. The committee noted that the annual Light Up for Christmas ceremony will be held at the Public Works Depot grounds on Thursday, December the 3rd at 2015, beginning at 6:30 p.m. All residents are invited to attend this event as the town lights up for the Christmas season. The Salvation Army Band will be providing the music and songs, and there will be free food, refreshments, and loot bags, as well as a visit from Santa Claus. The Dog Park Shelter request. The committee discussed two different requests for a type of human shelter to be placed at the dog park for use on inclement weather days. The committee does not wish to erect a human shelter at the dog park at this time and recommends that both requests be denied. Winter use of the dog park. The director presented information on winter use of dog parks in 3 other communities. All of these communities do not operate or maintain their dog park in the winter, and all of the parks are used at own risk. The committee noted that the town's dog park would be too difficult to plow during the winter. The committee recommends that a use at own risk sign be erected for the winter season at the dog park. Main Street Playground. The committee discussed the status of the Main Street Playground project. There is still some equipment installation to complete, and the area needs to be replenished with soil and landscaped. The project will be completed in the spring of 2016. The committee directed the Parks and Recreation foreman to fill in any remaining holes and dress up the area until project completion in the spring. Main Street softball fields concern. The committee discussed Main Street softball field safety concerns with respect to softballs being directed into different fields and being directed into the new playground. The committee recommends that a price estimate be obtained to provide proper netting and poles for the softball field, and that a request be submitted during the capital budget process. The meeting adjourned at 6 p.m., and I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Coady-Davis. Looking for a seconder. Councillor Pinsent. Any questions, discussions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor? Contrary minded? Motion carried. Before I ask Councillor Councillor Moores to read the committee of the whole minutes, Councillor Finn is going to make a motion.
Deputy Mayor. Just for the sake of dealing with any potential conflict of interest issues, I move that we separate because in our minutes, we will be discussing the capital programs review, and I move that we separate the line item for dealing with Coady Brook from the schedule that's presented, and that line item will be voted on separately. Pardon me? The line item is in the schedule that's in the attachments, so it's not actually dealing with the text of the minutes. Okay?
Okay, it's moved by Councillor Finn to separate that line item from the capital schedule.
From the schedule. And then we'll, just for the sake of for clarity for council, then the minutes will be read as in their entirety and can be voted upon, because there is no change within the text of the minutes that impacts Coady Brook. And subsequently, I'll bring forward another motion, but then we can deal with the motion of Coady Brook. This is a procedural housekeeping thing, of which the Deputy Mayor will abstain from in the second motion.
Correct. So it's moved by Councillor Finn, seconded by Councillor Moores, that we would remove the item.
Line item from the schedule attached to the capital, from the Committee of the Whole minutes related to the capital program.
Correct.
Correct.
But we will carry on and read the minutes in their entirety.
Yep.
We will vote on those minutes without that line item, and then I can excuse myself and you can deal with that line item
Right.
after. Correct?
Right.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Finn, seconded by Councillor Moores. All those in favor? Contrary minded? Motion carried. Councillor Moores, the Committee of the Whole minutes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Mayor. The Committee of the Whole meeting was held on Tuesday, November the 3rd. Present was Acting Mayor Barry Manuel, Councillors Darren Finn, Amy Coady-Davis, Tom Pinsent, myself, and Rodney Mercer. The staff included Mike Pinsent, Jeff Saunders, and Barry Griffin. Capital Works Program. The committee reviewed the 2014 to 16 Capital Works projects in great detail. There are 40 projects that will cost $25.7 million and involve several funding programs. It is a challenge to ensure that the funding programs and the projects assigned to them don't exceed the funding approved, but also that the funding be used. The program includes $18 million in the 70-30 multi-year Capital Works program, $3.6 million in the 70-30 top-up funding capital program, $874,000 in the Building Canada Fund, and $3.2 million in the 100% funded federal gas tax. Council's cost will be $6.76 million, or 26% of the $25.7 million program. After much discussion, the committee recommends the capital redistribution plan entitled Revised Schedule A, which is attached to these minutes. The federal gas tax program require a capital investment plan approved by council. The committee recommends that the attached plan for the $3,157,339.98 gas tax allocation be approved and a resolution be prepared and sent to the gas tax officials. Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador resolution. The committee discussed the town's resolution submitted to the 2015 Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador Conference. The resolution calls for a mandatory leave of absence immediately when a councillor is the declared candidate for a provincial and federal election. The resolution from other communities were also discussed. I would like to note, Deputy Mayor, that the resolution was passed at the conference. And I move the recommendation of the report of the committee.
Thank you, Councillor Moores. It's been moved by Councillor Moores, seconded by Councillor Finn. Any discussion, comments on the motion?
Yes, just a clarification on the amendment we asked the MNL to pass regarding the mandatory leave, which Councillor Moore spoke on behalf of the town that day. Just the residents to understand that doesn't mean it's being passed now. That will be taken and brought back to government to change the Municipalities Act. So there was considerable discussion about it, obviously, but it's now, just for the general public to know, that will now go to government. Government will now make a decision to change it in the Municipalities Act.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Pinsent. Any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Okay, as per Councillor Finn's earlier motion and reasoning, I'm going to ask Councillor Finn now if he would assume the chair while you complete the committee of whole minutes, and I will excuse myself. Tom is right. We won't forget you.
Thank you. Serving in the role as chair, I'd like to accept the motion from council to adopt the unchanged funding allocation for Coady-Davis. Just one second. For the Coady-Davis Enhancement Association, it's allocation 17 MYCW 15-00012 in the amount of $1 million. This amount is unchanged, and I move that that amount be approved as presented in the revised schedule. Excuse me, I don't move. I request that it be moved. Moved by Amy Coady-Davis. Is there a seconder? Second by Councillor Tom Pinsent. Is there any discussion on the motion? No discussion on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion's carried. So we can return the Deputy Mayor to the chair.
Thank you. Okay. So we've concluded all the committee reports. Moving along now on the agenda, any notice of motion? Hearing none, move right along to other business. Other business, we're going to start with Councillor Moores, who I know has something to, not to pass over Councillor Coady-Davis. She's been going first a couple times, and we discussed prior to the meeting that there's something Councillor Moores wanted to mention, so we'll start with Councillor Moores this evening.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'd just like to remind our viewers that Wednesday, of course, is Remembrance Day. The parade and the wreath laying will start at 11 a.m. And we had a great turnout last year, and we hope we can get the same results again this year. So look forward to seeing everybody at the Memorial Grounds at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Moores, and Councillor Mercer is not here this evening. He contacted me this afternoon, said he wouldn't be able to make it this evening due to work, just so that everybody knows his absence. And Councillor Pinsent, we'll move right along to you.
It's getting cumbersome to call you mayor or acting mayor, or? So I'm going to call you mayor. 'Cause you're acting like a mayor anyway, so you may as well, you're mayor. First of all, this weekend, College of North Atlantic has their business case competition coming in. And myself and the acting mayor, or deputy mayor, or real mayor, or whatever you call it, are going to speak to 2 groups from the state of Qatar. They want to learn something about municipal government. And so this is all new to them, apparently. So we're going to be there for a while, from what I hear. But anyway, they have the business case competition, and this will decide who goes to Montreal, Halifax, and to the state of Qatar to compete internationally. So this is sort of a big team. There's going to be 13 teams here, with Grand Falls being, I think they finished second last year. So they're looking to take the gold back. As people were driving around town, they'll see an awful lot of construction. Duggan Street, Hardy Avenue, paving and everything else. I have to take the hats off to, the engineering department, Jeff's department, for all the work that's being done, and of course the chair of Public Works as well, Darren, Councillor Finn, who's been working nonstop. And we see it. They come to us at council when we help them, but there's really those guys that are pushing it. So well done. There's a lot of, you can really see a difference. I mean, Duggan Street is starting to look respectable. I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's true. It actually looks much, much better. So well done there. Assessments. Once again, assessments is one of the things people are nervous about. If their taxes are going to go through the roof and they're going to have to start, with a monkey and a organ grinder on the street to pay their taxes. Let me reassure that council will review this and, of course, look at the mill rate. At the municipalities, Newfoundland and Labrador this weekend, there was a motion made to look at how the assessments are done, because it was done based on information in 2014 when the economy was up and probably housing prices were up, and here we are going into the tail end of 2015, prices are down. So this has not gone unnoticed, and to the general populace that, even municipalities, which include us, are looking at this also. So rest assured, we know where you're coming from. Of course, this week, the Grand Falls House property assessment, or the report, was released. I encourage the general public to read it and stay up on this, because with the mill demolition coming down now, everybody's starting to see real progress on the mill demolition. They've been working for a better part of 7 or 8 months. Of course, doing the hazmat inside. You're starting to see a lot of she's coming down. It's kind of heartbreaking in some ways, because that is our history in my mind. But now, of course, we're moving on with a tourism initiative and what to do with the properties, the Grand Falls House properties, and of course the old mill site as well. So there's possibilities there. There's potential, and we're excited moving forward. So the general populace stay involved. What was mentioned about the art procurement, and I have to commend Canvas, and of course we put Canvas in the town band, and because they were hurting for space, we put them in the Excite Center. And it's turned out this town band has actually expanded its membership. There's more members now in Canvas. And we don't know how long we'll be able to keep them there, because there is some development groups coming in. But it was one of the good decisions that I'm proud of on council that we made to put them in there, and it has turned benefits to them. There's more people now being involved in both, which is great. Also, past congratulations to St. Joseph's Parish, who will be celebrating 75 years. Their 75th anniversary of becoming a parish. When you sit back and think about it, and that goes back to the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s when they came in, I mean, that's quite a feat to actually, and a big part of the building of that town, so congratulations to them. And that's it for me. Acting mayor, deputy mayor, or mayor. Not sure what to call you anymore.
Thank you, Councillor Pinsent. Councillor Finn.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I got a few items I'd like to discuss this evening. Wednesday's Remembrance Day. So garbage collection that's normally scheduled for Wednesday will be collected on Thursday. As well, I'll point out that any changes to our garbage collection program are posted on our website, and will be posted on Facebook and radio as well. So you'll hear those notices tomorrow, should any of you councillors be asked about it. Also, I'd like to inform council that the arterial road that connected Park Street up to Tulit was open today. Open to traffic, so the base coat was down, all the road painting, necessary road painting was completed. So that arterial is open. We've also, in earlier council meetings, made some decisions to change the stop signs that where that arterial road intersects with Pondview and where it intersects with Whitmore. Those intersection stop sign changes are made, so the stop signs are in the opposite direction. The signage that would warn people about a change in signage have been erected, and the line painting is complete. So I'm pleased to inform council tonight that that is completed and in operation effective today. I would like just to speak a minute, Deputy Mayor, about the resolution that was adopted, and I want to thank Councillor Morse for speaking to it at the convention. I'm learning that through Councillor Pinsent's comments. So the resolution was sponsored by the Town of Grand Falls, adopted, albeit what I understand to be a narrow margin, but 60%. Because municipalities are usually accustomed to having motions either soundly endorsed or defeated. They're not usually down the middle like that. But anyway, having said that, it was approved, so they will proceed and lobby government for the change to the Act to clarify when a councillor or an elected person should take a leave of absence when they're pursuing another office. So I was pleased to hear that was approved by the municipality's Newfoundland and Labrador body, because our current act really only deals with when it's a monetary, when you're in conflict, when there's mainly a monetary interest to yourself or your immediate family members. And so a change just dealing with this category, you would think, to make the legislation a little bit more robust, would deal with circumstances where councillors can use their influence to advance themselves to another office. So hopefully that could deal with it. Now, just to be clear, I think it'd be fair to say that council pursued this resolution, not necessarily for the current circumstances of who's running for office now. We recognize that there are many councillors and mayors involved in running for provincial office across the province. They're doing nothing wrong. The rules are quite clear. They're all clear and good. What they're doing is fine when they take a leave of absence. As a matter of fact, they don't need to take a leave of absence during the election period. Even if elected, you don't have to take a leave of absence. You can carry on.
Be an MHA and a...
Yeah, you can be an MHA and a councillor.
Or mayor.
I mean, there's a gap here, and how people have dealt with that over time has been the full range of options have been exercised by those involved. So it's not about any one person. I think it's important to say that, and it's more about getting a more robust legislation dealing with the conflict of interest descriptions that are there now. So I just wanted to add that, and I was quite pleased that the resolution was adopted. There was also another similar resolution, just for the benefit of the public that would be listening, from the Conception Bay South, where they wanted clarification on when someone takes a leave of absence, whether or not the elected person remains in the loop, I'll say, in terms of the communication that is exchanged among councillors, in terms of the privileged information that would be in meetings or exchange in emails and so forth. I'm not sure what the outcome of that resolution. That resolution, oh, thank you, Councillor Coady-Davis. So both the body, MNL, saw both of those resolutions to be connected and similar, and hopefully new legislation, if government agrees, will address those issues in the future. If I could move on for a second, Deputy Mayor, to an issue with the road where the when you exit the ramp, where you exit the Trans-Canada Highway and near the Mount Peyton and end up near the Union Street lights, that ramp. Transportation and Works owns that strip of pavement from the, well, they own Transcanada Highway, but they own that ramp right into the painted stop bar where it would intersect with Lincoln Road. So council had made a request to Transportation and Works because of citizen complaints that the road, or the pavement had deteriorated, and we all know it has deteriorated. It's very rough when you come in there and brake. So we had made a request or a proposal to Transportation and Works to have that road repaired under our capital paving program, and they reimburse us. So the request was submitted, and the response came back that they did not have the resources to correct that problem. So so obviously we'll discuss that again at a future Public Works Committee meeting in terms of if there's any other action council wants to take. But for the benefit of the public, so the public knows and understands that, you know, like we have delineating lines where, you know, it's your responsibility and our responsibility. We try to respect those. And we made an offer to get the work done in a quick way, we thought. And they don't have the resources. So we'll continue to lobby to have that work done, as we would do with any work that's necessary to be completed. But the public should know also whose responsibility is, and they should lobby your local MHAs to get that kind of work done if they feel they want to take that route. So I just wanted to pass that information along. Also, Deputy Mayor, I'm going to get my reading glasses on. I wanted to talk about our capital program, which is very extensive, and I want to take a few minutes to go through it, if I could. Thank you. Because often we can spend a ton of time discussing decisions that have very little financial impact or consequence to citizens or council. But then, you know, we deal with our capital program, which in just the past 2 years is a $22.5 million program, and there are a ton of projects listed in the capital plan, all of which we've talked about. But at $22.5 million, you can't talk about them enough, is what I suggest. Some projects that are coming up on completion this year are Gilbert Street, the water, sewer upgrades and street reconstruction at $494,000. That project is near completion, and I believe as the base coat of asphalt.
Some patching done this year. The asphalt, the main part of the asphalt will be completed next spring.
The main part, okay. And Duggan Street, a $1.6 million project. Obviously near completion. Most of the paving is done except for a short section along the in front of Transportation and Works depot, and that work will be done in the coming week, we're hopeful. Also, part of Duggan Street, we had an agreement with Transportation and Works to develop another off-ramp into the Transcanada Highway. That off-ramp is also completed. The street resurfacing program, Deputy Mayor, if I could just talk about that, because in the past 5 years, we have invested millions of dollars in street resurfacing and paving with a goal, and a personal goal that I have tried to exceed 6 kilometers of pavement a year in paving. In 2010, 1.1 million. 2011, 1.4 million. 2012, 1.9 million. 2013, 1.7 million. 2014, 2.2 million. In 2015, this year, we've allocated 1.7 million. And I think the citizens are seeing the benefit of those significant investments in paving. As well, Deputy Mayor, I don't need to remind Council, but we have $456,000 in upgrades to the two playgrounds, Main Street and Goodyear Avenue. As well, a new clubhouse and the ball field on Goodyear Avenue at $422,000, and lights for the softball field and baseball fields both on Main Street and on Goodyear Avenue at $700,000. And there are some roof repairs to the town hall that are underway. Okay, and just a quick look down through, Mr. Mayor. So, you know, and Mr. Mayor, or Deputy Mayor, we had our Union Street traffic lights were replaced this year at a budgeted amount of $170,000. The soccer clubhouse was completed last year, the dog park, and a significant investments at the YMCA in $376,000. So significant investments amounting to all totaling $22.5 million. And Council will, over the next few days, communicate with the citizens through our Facebook and Twitter in terms of some photos of the final works, the finished work on all of the streets that are in at least the past 2 years of paving. Some pictures on all of the capital projects that were done, including the water treatment plant and that we intend to update the public about. So we'll get all that information posted. Is a lot of information, probably too much to go through in a list in detail in a public meeting. But nevertheless, it is important that the citizens know, where every dollar goes, and so I think that's important that we make that effort. So because otherwise there are citizens that would never really see, or because of their interest in life, would probably never see the ball field investments unless you play ball, albeit it's a significant investment. So those are the important things I wanted to cover tonight, Deputy Mayor, and thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Finn. Councillor Coady-Davis.
Councillor Finn mentioned the ramp from Dublin to Trans-Canada. That is complete. It's not open because they're waiting for Newfoundland Power to raise a wire that's low. It was supposed to be done today, but due to the wind this weekend, they were sort of called away to other projects. So we're hoping this week that will be raised, and as soon as that wire is up to the proper height, it will be opened.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Coady-Davis.
Just a few items for me. I wanted to start tonight with the Midwinter Biver. This year it'll be held February 19th to the 20th. Our website is now live. It's Midwinter Biver with 2 V's, so it's BIVVER.com. The early bird tickets for the full meal deal are on sale now for $135 each, and that's just until December 24th, so they certainly would make a lovely Christmas present. The regular price on those is $150. So if you go to the website, midwinterbiver.com, you can purchase the tickets right there online, and you can also view all of the event details, which are listed on the website as well, so you can see exactly what it is you're purchasing and what a great weekend that certainly will be. It was a lot of fun last year, and we're looking forward to much the same again this year, so I'd encourage everyone to check that out. I want to say congratulations to Chanel Zori, who was crowned Miss Teen Newfoundland and Labrador. She is Miss Grand Falls-Windsor, and we're certainly proud of her. She certainly excelled as Miss Grand Falls-Windsor, and her commitment to community and her extracurricular activities and sports certainly did her well as she competed for the crown of Miss Teen Newfoundland and Labrador. So congratulations, Chanel, and we look forward to you as you continue to promote your hometown of Grand Falls-Windsor and the province. I know you'll represent us all very well, and we're very proud of you. Myself, Councillor Moores, and Councillor Pinsent attended the MNL convention this past weekend, and it was a very successful convention. Attended a lot of sessions and did a lot of networking. A couple of the resolutions were mentioned. The mandatory leave, which was for declared candidates for provincial and federal elections. So MNL will now lobby government to have that clarified in the Municipalities Act. There was also a resolution which came forth from the Exploits Joint Council at the request of Grand Falls-Windsor to encourage the provincial government to increase staffing levels for our CMP and their coverage in central Newfoundland. And I'm happy to say that that resolution also passed. So MNL will now lobby government to increase our CMP presence, not just in central Newfoundland, but across the province as well. So very happy to see those resolutions go through. Let's see, what other list did I have? Oh yes, I want to say a big thank you to the Grand Falls-Windsor Fire Department and the Grand Falls-Windsor Municipal Enforcement Officers who did some great work and some quick work, and were quick on scene yesterday with what could have been a very difficult situation to handle had it gotten any worse with the damage with wind at the Mount Peyton Hotel. Just looking at the pictures, I'm sure residents can just imagine what exactly could have happened with the debris that was blowing around into the streets, into neighbors, and if that situation had gotten any worse, there could have been some significant property damage and possibly personal injury, and we're happy to report that there was no personal injury. The roof is now secured as it can be given the situation, and there are safety crews and security crews that are working now. The fire department was successful in placing straps across the roof to prevent any other significant damage and debris from coming loose from that building. So obviously we will continue to monitor that, but again, you know, we speak so highly of our fire and emergency services, our Grand Falls-Windsor Fire Department and our municipal enforcement officers and the work that they do, and how well trained that they are. And this is just another example of why we continue to support these two departments within the municipality of Grand Falls-Windsor, and we'll certainly continue to do so. So again, a big thank you to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Coady-Davis. Just a few things for me as well, just to follow up on a couple of points made earlier. I'm glad that, well, Councillor Pinsent and Councillor Finn both mentioned the capital program and the work that's being done around town, and Councillor Finn in some detail, which is necessary sometimes. I mean, you go around town and you talk to people, and regularly people are noticing and commenting on the good work that's being done around town. Roads that definitely need the paving, some roads that haven't seen asphalt in decades that are seeing it. Some of our main roads that obviously are experiencing high volumes of traffic, like Hardy Avenue. And just like to thank the residents and the business owners in that area and all areas for their patience during this time. Although they do recognize when you talk to them that, you know, progress takes time, but there has been some you know, disruption, I guess, in traveling around town, which has to be when you're doing this type of work. But not only the paving that we've been doing, And again, Councillor Finn mentioned that all the infrastructure projects that we've been doing, we're doing the work down on the ski trail, which has been mentioned in the Parks and Rec minutes to create a mountain biking trail. We've got all these great recreational facilities, parks, playgrounds. The Main Street playground will be finished very soon. First thing to be done in 2016, when the thaw comes, is to finish that playground. And really, that is what makes Grand Falls-Windsor a great place to live, you know, and I'd put our community up against any of the others around for our quality of our roads, the quality of our services, and the quality of our infrastructure. And over the last couple of years, when it comes to the work we've been doing on the capital program, certainly has added significantly to all that. So, so congratulations to everybody involved, and it's sure nice to see all that work being carried out. Councillor Coady-Davis mentioned the RCMP staffing levels, and a resolution passed that was submitted by Joint Council with respect to increased staffing levels. And anybody that's been following this council for the last year or 2 years particularly, we've been doing a lot of lobbying, a lot of screaming and yelling, and a lot of complaining about the fact that our resources here in Grand Falls-Windsor are not where they need to be. And we will continue to do so, and are continuing behind the scenes, even though you may not have heard anything recently in the media or at our meetings. Incidentally, myself and the town manager this afternoon met with the new staff sergeant here in the Grand Falls-Windsor detachment, Kelly Bryan, and also the new NCO, which is Rod Gollop. And we had a chance to sit down with them for about an hour and a half this afternoon and go through a lot of the concerns we have and a lot of the information that they wanted to pass along to us. It's safe to say you will see some improvements in terms of visibility in that RCMP around our community in the short term. There's no doubt that they are not without their challenges going forward, but I must say it was a very good, productive meeting. One thing that was very clear, the communication lines between the RCMP and the town of Grand Falls-Windsor when it comes to our council and our staff and our municipal enforcement officers, we're looking to improve upon that as much as possible to the mutual benefit of both groups. So that was a very productive meeting, and as I said, even though you haven't heard a whole lot recently about the RCMP situation, it's still something that we're very serious about lobbying government and trying to get some increased resources here for the Grand Falls-Windsor detachment so that they can police effectively in our community. One last thing that I wanted to mention, the Grand Falls House report is out, as was mentioned. Councillor Pinsent mentioned that it's on our website. There's also a couple of copies here at the town hall for anybody who wanted to come down and view them. I'd encourage everybody, all citizens, to take a look at the report. You know, this was a long time coming, as most of these things usually take some time. Consultants were hired to put the thought in, to take the considerations from the public meeting that was held and with all the stakeholders to gather all that information into a collection of recommendations which now are up for discussion again. And in order to have healthy discussion on what that report holds and get any kind of decisions going forward, then we want to hear from the community. So we want to hear what you think. We want to hear your ideas. We want to hear what you think about the ideas contained in the report. And as was mentioned, we recently, again, the town manager and myself met with a joint committee of cabinet from the provincial government just recently, along with a few members of the Grand Falls House Committee. And it was a very positive meeting going forward to discuss how the transition or possible transition of a property would take place. We know that it's provincial government property now. They've been looking to get rid of the property for some time, to divest, and the town of Grand Falls-Windsor made it clear that they're not interested in taking that property with no strings attached. There's a lot of considerations there. There's remediation considerations of the buildings, there's the ongoing maintenance, and when you do get a chance to look at the plan, the Grand Falls House plan, you'll see that a lot of the ideas in that plan, it's going to take some time in order to get to the point where you're going to realize some revenue. and we need to make sure that we are prudent in how we proceed to get from where we are now and where we want to be when we've got some self-sustaining ideas fully operational and generating some revenue. And that is something that will be discussed by our council in the very near future and will continue to be discussed. It's also my understanding with the Grand Falls House Committee that at some point we'll give everybody an opportunity to look at the plan, and then there will be another calling for public input and a public meeting so people can again provide their feedback. And it's also important to note that the Grand Falls House Committee, who are made up of a number of residents with a lot of experience and expertise, and particularly in business and other fields, is fully committed to going forward with council to try to make this Grand Falls House Sustainability Project a project of success in the future. And we keep saying it's not just about saving the house. We are not going to be naive enough to think that you can just save the house, pour money into it year after year for the sake of saving the house. Everybody wants to save it, but it has to be done in a practical and an affordable manner going forward. And the Grand Falls House Committee will be continuing to work with council and to work with stakeholders to try to bring that plan to where it needs to be, and we can get benefit from that house and property, not only from a saving the property standpoint, but also for our riverfront planning and the different ideas that will come from riverfront planning in the future, and how the Grand Falls House can fit so well and be prominent in that. So I just wanted to have a few words on that, and I'd like everybody to take a look at the report when they get the chance. Again, it's on our website, very easy to access. It's also on our Facebook page. You can get the link from there. So that's it for me tonight. I don't know if anybody else has anything to add. Councillor Finn?
Just congratulations, if I could, Deputy Mayor, and it's to the recent induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame of Gary Furlong and Rob Finn. Most of us here, many of us here know them very well. I certainly know Rob very well. And but Rob and Gary have played a lot of sport all the way up through the very young ages, all the way up to senior baseball, and then carried on sport in their active lives today. Both of them live in Halifax. So I just want to extend congratulations to them for the recent induction into the Newfoundland and Labrador Baseball Hall of Fame. Also, Deputy Mayor, if I could also extend congratulations to a couple of other, I'll say, young in my mind, anyway, fellas, because we grew up with them, and you'd remember, and I was reading, and I'm aware of this because I read it in the Advertiser recently, articles about Suji and Diku Mandavia, who are both physicians, grew up here, and went to school at the same time we did. Here, and both of them are physicians, worked with experience working in the trauma centers in Los Angeles, and the articles were about their connection to Grand Falls-Windsor, their lives in Los Angeles, I think it's Los Angeles, and how Suji has a connection as a physician with the Los Angeles Kings, and Diku has a connection with, as an executive producer on the pilot project for Code Black, which is a miniseries that's on TV now. But his connection was with the pilot. And a story in the newspaper, in the Advertiser, I encourage people to look it up, discusses how they both got along that journey. So I just want to offer congratulations to them both.
Thank you, Councillor Finn. I'm glad you did that. I neglected to mention as well that, and of course I know Rob and Gary very well, grew up playing hockey with those guys. They're a little bit older than me, but not a whole lot, so congratulations, and very fitting for those two to go in together as well, because anybody who would remember their sporting days in Grand Falls-Windsor, you rarely heard one without the other being mentioned. It was always Furlong and Finn, and whether it be hockey or baseball, they were second to none in this area when it came to those sports. And Suji and Deku, yeah, interesting to note, you know, those before denominational, non-denominational school system. And Deku went to GFA and Suji went to St. Mike's. And they were brothers, and I don't know the backstory of why that happened, but I do remember Suji very well. He's a year older than me, and I did read the article in the Advertiser, and it's nice to see, and I'm glad that you pointed that out this evening as well. Congratulations to them. Anything else? Okay, if there's no other business, I will call for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Finn, second by Councillor Pinsent. All those in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried.